Working with risks. Now we have added the risks. Now we are going to add the parameters. So I'll go to the risk window, but before adding the risk parameters, I want to show you how to add, delete, modify, etc. the operations. So as we know, we can add by clicking on just plus and it adds, or here itself I can right click and say add. It will add a risk. So if you want to remove, let us say here again I'll add. Again it added another risk and the ID got changed automatically to 6. If you want to remove, select that risk, right click and say delete, or you can click on delete here. It is asking, are you sure you want to remove the selected risk? Yes, we want to remove, and automatically it got removed. If you want to modify, again you can have the modification here, risk details. You can go there, choose the risk details below, and you can modify the risks here itself, or there is the risk detail in the bottom part, or you can double click here and change the description or the name. Then you have the ID also you can change. You can give 51. The risk type, another parameter also you can change. I am going to remove this risk. So I'll right click and say delete, and got deleted. Now we have a number of parameters to add. So I'll take risk 1 and I'll go to general. So this is poor design specification. The first one is risk category. Where this category is coming from? It is coming from admin and admin categories. Under admin categories, we have a number of risk categories such as project management related, people related, cost related, contract related, time, environment, quality, market related. If you want to add another category, you can click on add and add the category. We'll continue with our existing risk categories. So I'll close on it. Then I'll go to risk category here, and it is design specification. So I'll scroll down and we'll choose an appropriate one. Let us say complexity and interfaces, and I'll say assign it. So it got assigned. Similarly, for other one, I can directly go here and say assign key resource unavailable. So I'll say resources. Under people I can choose. Then reuse of previous design module, again I'll go there. So here I'll say requirements, we can choose. This is project management related, we can take. Then here contractor related, supplier and contractor we have. So I'll go for subcontractors and suppliers, and it got added. Next to that, we have risk type, we have already populated. Then you have risk owner. So risk owner we are going to add. Let us say the first risk is taken by John. This is the owner of the risk. Let us say the second one is by Eric. I'll assign the risk. Third one, let us say the owner will be another person. So again we'll take this one. Let us say it will be Mohan. And here last one, let us say is Satya. Now if you want to change, for example, this opportunity you want to change, you can change it by clicking on Satya, let us say. And this one, instead of this one, I am going to say Giuliano, I can assign it. You can change the risk owner. Once the risk is identified, an owner has to be assigned. Next to owner, we have identified by. Who identified that risk? So here again, let us say it is identified by Ravi. Then we have Eric. So Catherine identified it. Then you have Satya. Satya himself identified it. Then Giuliano, again let us say Eric identified it or Rick identified it. So we added who has identified the risk. So again we can say Rick. I assigned Rick. Next is identified on, which date it has been identified. Our project exposure, as you can see, also the risk exposure is from 4th October to 8th of December. So risk has to be identified within this timeline, or even slightly before, because even the project before gets kick-started, there will be some analysis with respect to the project. So I say identified on, I'll give a date. Let us say, again we have to choose a date properly. So I'll go for 27 and I'll say October. And here I'm going to give a date of October. Let us say it identified on 8th. So I can copy this one and I can come here and I can paste it here. Instead of 8th, let us say it got identified on 19th. So if it is identified on 19th, then the exposure start also will be from 19th. So again we have to change this one. So but it is not, as you can see, it is not taking the exposure start, changing. So exposure start is automatically taking the project one. So the risk, again we can change it a bit earlier. So instead of 19th, I can say, let us say it got identified on 6th. So again if I come here and say exposure start, I'll drag it here. Then you have exposure finish. This one also you cannot edit, it is uneditable. So here also you can see exposure start, you cannot edit it. This cannot be edited. Now next one is you have project, and the description of the risk also you can give if you want to give any additional description. Now coming to the risk one by one. So first is, as you can see, the ID, the name, then you have category, the type is threat, owner, status is proposed. We can choose any other status, maybe active, we can say it. So we can change that one. Let us say it is active. Then status changed here as active. Exposure start, exposure finish. The pre-response exposure cost is 0. The post-response exposure cost is 0 because we have not yet assigned the probability and the impact fields. Identified date and identified by. Now we are going to go for impact. Now for the impact, we have to assign the probability and the impact value. So let us say for this one is high for risk 1, and for schedule it is also, let us say, high. Now for cost also it is, let us say, high. Now as you do that, automatically the risk score got calculated. We already know how to calculate the risk score. We have that PI table. From that PI table we are finding out what is the risk score. So the higher of the two will be taken. So it is high already. High and high it is finding out as 28. If I put as, let us say, I am saying this schedule is medium, I'll say medium, still the higher one will be taken between schedule and cost, the impact fields. Response type, I am yet to do it, so I'll leave as it is. Now one thing I would like to tell is, only when you add a response, so let us say avoid I added, then only the post response probability, schedule, cost and score will be coming up and it will be enabled. Without any response type, if I say none, again it is asking resetting the response, I'll say none, again it is getting disabled. Next is activities. We have not assigned any activity right now to any of the risks. Description, if you want to add a description, I'm going to take it this divider and move it to up, and here we can add a description. This is related to poor design specification given by the team, and you can also, it can be changed. Then cause, you can give a cause, you can say caused by design team. Then effect, you can also mention the effect. Effect will be delay in or quality issues, more quality issues you can mention. Then notes, if you want to add any notes, you can add those notes as well. So you can go there and you can add those notes. So I'm going to take this one, I dragged it far ahead. So notes with respect to that, it's notes for design specification. In addition, also we have user defined fields, so you can go and customize, and here itself you can add the user defined fields. I am not going to add any user defined fields. We already have a number of fields for this particular risks. So this is how you work with the risks that you have added. It may be threats or it may be opportunity, or it may be both threats and or opportunities.